As a person who likes seeing what the other side has to say regarding politics, I was watching the Breakfast Club because they had my representative, Byron Donald. And I wanted to see how cordial the debate was going to be, or whether it's going to be one of those aggressive debates that they like to have, comparing whenever they interview a Democrat. And one of the questions that she asked during the interview, which I'm going to show you here in a second, it's one of the reasons I cannot be represented by the Democratic Party, even though I am not a fan of Donald Trump. Because I always mention that because people think I love Donald Trump, and I don't. And she was asking about whether America is a racist country. And I'm going to show you the clip here, that way you guys can see it.
You want a true or false statement?
Congressman, I want to know if
I don't
you've
want to
ever
argue with you. I want to explain the
experienced racism in this
facts.
country.
Angela, I don't want to argue with you.
I would
want to
like to
explain
know
the
if you've
facts.
ever experienced racism in this country, Congressman.
Yeah, actually, I have.
Okay. Do you believe America is a racist country?
No, I don't.
Okay, I believe that that's true because you said in an op-ed on Fox News, as a Black conservative, I, like Senator Scott, agree, and our two lives and the lives of many Black men and women like us are living proof that America is indeed no longer a racist nation and by far the best place to reach your fullest potential. And so here's my question. You did, however, vote to support the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, along with every member of the House except for 3 Republicans. So I appreciate your bipartisanship there. And what I do know as well, because America is in fact a racist country, was founded on such principles. Black men were lynched by the carceral state last week. I'm sure you've heard of Marcellus Williams by now in Missouri, who was convicted by a nearly all-white jury, and Freddie Owens in South Carolina, who was executed despite his friend recanting testimony that Owens was not in fact there. This is the same state, by the way, that allowed for a firing squad as an execution option. Black people are about 7.5 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted of murder in the United States than are white folks, and about 80% more likely to be innocent than others convicted of murder, according to a 2022 report by the National Registry of Exonerations. So please tell me how America is not a racist country.
First thing I would say is that our past is a dark one. It really is. We can't walk away from that. We had whole laws that were subjugating Black people in the South of this nation for decades after the Civil War. We can't walk away from that one. I believe that in America, we have great people in this country, and we have some people, quite frankly, that even I can't stand. But they're the vast, vast, vast minority of people in our country. Most people just want to live in harmony and peace. That's what they really want. I think the important thing to acknowledge today is what's going to help Black people going forward. And what's going to help Black people moving forward is economic policy. It's actually wide open energy policy so we can be energy dominant. It's, yes, securing our southern border, because we have a situation right now where, yeah, there are more than 15 million illegal aliens in the country. Where do they reside? Mostly in sanctuary cities like New York. Where are they at? Sanctuary states like Illinois, like California. What's happening in those cities? Hospital systems are overrun. Why are they overrun? Because you have people in the country illegally who don't have resources, so they're going into the emergency room. What are they taking up? They're taking resources from poor people in our country, whether they're Black, whether they're Hispanic, whether they're white. That's wrong. What about education? We have a situation where in too many inner cities, kids are not reading at grade level, or they don't have math skills at grade level. How does that help them excel and achieve? I don't want to discount what Angela is saying. I don't. I acknowledge the issue of our nation, but we always are trying to strive to be the more perfect union. So in 2024, what are the economic policies? What are the national security policies? What are the border security policies that are going to make our country thrive? So whether you Black, Hispanic, or white, you could thrive.
So as you can see here from her comments, all I can say is a person that believes a country is inherently racist systematically, even though the United States does have a history of racism and discrimination, how can you fix something that you believe it is inherently so corrupt and so bad? How many changes are you talking about? How much control are you planning to give that government? It's like imagine you're speaking with your spouse because you're having issues and you guys are considering divorce, and you're like, oh, so I would like to fix the relationship with my wife. So what do you think is the problem? Oh no, I think she's inherently a bad person. Do you have any intentions of actually fixing the situation, or you have the intentions of talking about it, or perhaps give give control to a government that may fix or may not fix your problems? Because hey, you don't know what happens when government has that much control. And by the same token, if American has a past history, I'm sorry, the Democrats were the party of the KKK. They're the party of the lynching. If you were able to look past that and now vote 90% for Democrats, I'm sorry, let's talk about current topics. Let's talk about how to improve the situation of every American, regardless of race. I am an immigrant myself. Do Were there people that were racist to me? Of course. I was called a beaner because they thought I was Mexican. Did it bother me? Yes. Did it affect any way in my life? No, it did not. What affected my life was the decisions that I made to make the improvements and the sacrifices that I made to come to a country where I didn't know the language, learn the language, as you guys can hear me right now. I know English, I know Spanish, I'm learning German. I have a bachelor's degree in cybersecurity, and I was able to look past just because people didn't like me. I think on the race matter, we all agree any law that discriminates people based on the color of the skin or the ethnicity, that should be removed. That should be changed. But many people create a mental barrier thinking, America is a racist country, I'm not going to be able to do anything. If that's a mentality, you're never going to be able to accomplish anything. The same mentality that you have when you're getting stuff done, and the mentality that you have when you're feeling down, you're capable of great things, regardless of how you feel, regardless if other people don't like you. You cannot legislate people liking you. You can legislate people not getting in the way of your success when it comes to discrimination. And I'll give another example is many people here in the States, they're not cultural traveled. You might have been to another country, but you don't understand what other people left in other countries. There's people I know people that I know this might be a big anecdotal, left to South Korea. They look South Korea, they were discriminated over there. And the discrimination is not remotely what people think of discrimination in the States. And many people that come from other countries as an immigrant in Europe, in certain countries in Europe, in Japan, Korea, they'll tell you, American is far more welcoming that people give credit to. And I'm staying on topic again. My big issue is, how do you want to fix something that you see so inherently wrong? Do you have any intentions of just fixing a couple of things here and there? No, you have a plan of destroying the whole thing. And then you, as a dictator, you set the decisions how you want to make the changes. I'll give you the example of Cuba, the country where I was born. Cuba, before the Castro regime, which has been in power for over 60 years, they thought they had a really bad situation. They thought they needed a radical change. Cuba had a better GDP per capita than Italy, than Japan, and at the same level of France, and even better than Spain. But if you don't look outside and you try to compare your situation to the rest of the world, you will think that you're living a miserable life. And what was the result of that? Socialism in Cuba. 60 years. People living with a salary of $27 a month. Figure it out. Now you can talk about racism and they put all the gay flags and they're super about inclusion, but you're starving to death. Is that an option you're planning to keep whenever you want to give so much power to a government? I think it's definitely a wrong idea. I will leave it as that.